Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have some questions today from some of my diabetic homies. We need a gang sign. The first question is, what's your A1C? My A1C, last time I got it checked, was 4.5, believe it or not. Yeah, no, it's not 4.5, unfortunately. I think the last time it was 6.1, but usually it's somewhere between 5.8 and 6.5, I would say, somewhere in that range. But one time, a long time ago, I did get 4.5. And so I'm just going to say that that's it every time. Do you prefer insulin pens or a pump? So for me personally, I have always used insulin pens. In fact, my Dexcom wanted to make an appearance. That's my blood sugars are low. I guess that means I'm going to have to get another juice box. Where was I again? Yes. Insulin pens or a pump. So, I have used a CGM, like the constant glucose monitor, for like 5 years now. I've had diabetes for a little over 10 years. And I've actually never used a pump. And the reason is because I just do a lot of stuff where I get sweaty, running around or working outside or whatever it is, and it just falls off really easily. And I feel like the benefit of a pump is so big whenever you leave it on for long periods of time and you don't have to kind of do one-off, insulin. But if it's going to fall off after 4 days, then it's, first of all, it's just really expensive. But also, it's pretty annoying. So my doctor is talking to me, trying to convince me to use a pump. And definitely with some of the software that you can use a pump and it automatically does dosing, like closed loop or whatever it's called, I would be open to that. So I'll probably try it out. I may even do a review here at some point. But for now, I'm definitely a big fan of the insulin pens. You can control it, and it's honestly not that big of a hassle in my opinion. Next question. What are your favorite snacks? Well, first one is juice boxes. I love juice boxes. What can I say? Some other good snacks are, let's see. I always carry around some sort of hard candy that's not going to melt. So I carry around like a Jolly Rancher or gummies of some sort or something like that I can just put in my backpack and leave for very long periods of time, like maybe even months. Funny story, I used to, because I love juice so much, I used to try and put juice in my backpack and carry it around in case my blood sugars went low. And one time I put grape juice in there, and it was in there for like 2 months, and I would leave it outside, and I didn't think about this, but it fermented. And by the time my blood sugars were actually low, I opened it up, and it was basically just wine. Not good wine either, which was very disappointing. But yeah, that did not help. But other good snacks. Shut up! Oh, there it is. Listened. Other good snacks are the Gatorade chews that Gatorade makes, obviously. And I really like, I guess some people do crackers. I don't really do a lot of crackers. I'm trying to think here. Bars. Like protein bars. But you want to look on them and make sure that they don't have too much protein and they have a lot of carbs. So like the unhealthy Cliff bars are the best in a scenario where you're like on a hike or something and they go low and you need something that's really going to give you a boost. I think the best thing is like a Cliff bar or like a really unhealthy, protein bar. We've got a couple here that are just like rank my favorite. So let's speed round through these. What's your favorite meter? My favorite meter, I think my favorite meter is the One Touch Vivo. It's really nice because it gives you running averages and it's pretty easy to plug into your computer and just get the numbers. I don't really use a meter quite as much anymore because I use my constant glucose monitor. Next one. Okay, I said speed round. This is not fast at all. What's your favorite fact? What's your favorite fact? That's a different question. What's your favorite fast-acting insulin? My favorite fast-acting insulin, let me see if it's here somewhere. Okay, I found it. My favorite fast-acting insulin is this pen. It's called the InPen. It's nice and blue, which I really like. If you've been a diabetic for long enough, you'll understand why the aesthetics of this stuff matter, because you have to look at them so much. But yeah, I like this InPen because it's got Bluetooth and it syncs to my phone. Okay, and last but not least, what's your favorite CGM? I'm skipping pump because, well, obviously I used it, so. My favorite CGM is Dexcom. I've used Freestyle Libre, I think it's called. Question number 5. What's your address? My address is 1600 Amphitheater Parkway in California. If you can find it, come say hello. What does it feel like when your blood sugars are high? I've tried to describe this a lot of times, and any diabetic will tell you that it's pretty hard to describe. But here's the best I've come up with. So imagine that you're in, hey Siri, what's the thing that got hot? Sauna. Never mind. It's sauna. I got it. Imagine that you're in a sauna and not like in a sauna super relaxed, like vibing out. I mean, like imagine that you just walked into the sauna and it's super hot and you immediately get sweaty and it's like, whoa. But imagine that you don't get sweaty and then you just have to, like, you're not in there just being a potato. You have to just keep that feeling and go try and do normal stuff, like talking to people and doing work, while having that feeling of having just walked into a very hot sauna at all times, but you're not sweaty. That's not that close to what it feels like, but it's the best I could come up with. Okay, and then the other question is, what does it feel like to have low blood sugars? And here's my swing at that. So imagine that you just finished a race or like some really hard athletic event and you feel really tired. Right? You're like, you don't want to stand up. You feel really weak. You know, it's hard to kind of do basic things. But imagine instead of being tired because you just exercised, where now your muscles are sore and stuff, imagine that you feel that same kind of weakness, but it's because someone just told you that you have to sing in front of 1,000 people. And you've got that like nervousness too of like, this is scary. And your muscles tense up and you're like, heart's beating faster. And so you combine those. It's not that bad. It's not like as bad as both of those things happening at the same time, but it's like the weakness of a hard exercise combined with the nervous feeling of someone just telling you that you had to sing in front of 1,000 people. Or if you're a singer, whatever makes you nervous. If you have a better description than that, I actually am pretty curious. Leave it in the comments. So good. Next question. Do people ever make fun of you for having diabetes? So, the answer is no. No one has, maybe once or twice in 10 years, just like a horrible person has tried to make fun of me for having diabetes. But I will say that I have started the joke sometimes, and then other people have continued it, and it has made me upset, which sounds really bad, but like, let me explain what I mean. So, whenever I'm playing sports, sometimes it's hard because my blood sugars go low and I can't play anymore. Or like I was playing ping pong with my friends a lot in high school, and we would play, And then sometimes my blood sugars would go low and I would lose. And I would try to explain that to them. It doesn't count. My blood sugars were low. Okay, I get 2 times point factor. And they didn't really like that. I don't know why. Then it went the other way, and anytime I was losing, even if my blood sugars weren't low, if I was losing, they're like, "Oh, are your blood sugars low?" Which is funny until the point when I was losing and my blood sugars actually were low, and I felt insecure about it, and I was like, I'm not gonna check my blood sugars. I'm gonna prove to them that I can win either way. And then I stopped one day. I was like, this is dumb. I feel like this joke has gone too far. I can't really remember anyone making fun of my diabetes, not in a way that they were trying to be funny, but trying to be actually mean. If someone does that to one of you, send me what they said in a comment and we'll brainstorm a response, because that's horrible. We ain't gonna put up with that. Next question, do you smoke weed? What kind of questions are these? No, but you know what? Sometimes I am high though. What's the most annoying thing about diabetes? You know, it's not shots. I will say that. Once or twice every month, my blood sugars do something that I just totally don't expect. Like, they start dropping, and so I have a snack, and then they just keep dropping and dropping and dropping, and I just like went on a 10-minute walk or something like that, and they just plummet, and I'm like eating, and they're dropping and dropping and dropping, and I think that those moments, especially when that affects my sleep or affects my ability to go meet up with friends or do work, or any time that it's not any time that high blood sugars affects that. Like if I drink a big cup of hot cocoa and then it's bad, it's like, okay, this sucks, but whatever. But it's when I eat cheese, which technically has no carbs in it, and my blood sugars just start rocketing up, and I'm just like, why me? I think that's probably the most annoying thing, is when it just wrecks my plans. How do you manage your blood sugars with sports? Not well. To be honest, that's one of the hardest things for me, is being able to, because I like to do stuff that involves running, so frisbee and like ultimate frisbee and that kind of thing. But it's a 3-hour game where you just run and run and run, and so it's really difficult to tell, because whenever you sprint, you release the glycogen, something or another. You release that into your bloodstream, but whenever you do not intense, like jogging or something like that, then your blood sugars go down. And so I pretty much have a horrible strategy of just having a big snack beforehand, like a Cliff Bar or something like that, and then they'll just spike up to kind of the 200s range, and then once I'm going, I can take a unit of insulin, and they'll kind of come back down to stable. But I really don't think that's the best approach. I would definitely recommend to talk to your doctor. The only thing I can say is it is good to kind of err on the side of caution, a little bit higher, 150 or something like that. But yeah, still haven't figured that one out, unfortunately. The next question here says, does diabetes mean you're going to die sooner? Because I hope you do. It's not really a question. This is a good one. Do you think there will be a cure for diabetes in our lifetime? I hope so. I really hope so. I think there will be. I heard news about a bionic pancreas that was being created. Which, first of all, that sounds epic. Like, I'm pretty sure people would be friends with me just for the fact that I have a bionic pancreas. You have a working pancreas? Oh, you know what's better than a working pancreas? A bionic pancreas. I want that. I hope that in our lifetime they will figure out how to actually just create a pancreas that they can swap out in the internal organ and then it's just good to go. That seems possible. I mean, they've done it with other things, like with hearts and stuff, where they can fix it for 10 years and you're good to go. So, yeah, I don't know for sure, but I really hope that, at least in the next 10 years, I hope we hear about it. Because there's so much money being spent on like CGMs and stuff. There's a lot of people with diabetes out there. So, and we will pay for stuff that makes us have to check our blood sugars less. So I think it could happen. There's a demand for it, and there's really smart people working on it. So fingers crossed. At the end of the day, I don't know. You have to deal with a couple of extra doctor visits and a shorter life expectancy. But hey, you build character and you get to drink more juice boxes, so. I think it's worth it. What kind of a gang sign could I do for diabetes? What's T in sign language? R, S, T? Is that T? T1D? This is the worst gang sign ever created. Bye.